really enjoyable conversation last night in the TRI, Secret Options Formula Club meeting room. Probably the biggest thing that came out of that meeting last night was I heard that Sophie, SOFI, if I'm not mistaken, this was one of Ray's names, just launching itself higher, 30% move on the day. They're in the financial services industry and online. So I thought it was interesting that that I think it was Ray. I think that was one of Ray's ideas. And PayPal, if I'm not mistaken, PYPL, I think that's what it is. We talked about these ones. Specifically, we talked about PayPal last night, up a good 10% on the day, actually coming off a bit from its highs here earlier this morning. Zach was in this call, and we should all look at this and go, well, isn't this the kind of stuff that that Beamish guy's trying to teach you to find in the market? Market makes a low, then rallies away, then goes down, tests the low, turns around, heads back up. Is this a sloppy W? Maybe. But I don't know, you tell me. Is that at the bottom end of the trading range, or is that at the top end of a trading range? Out of curiosity, is there some sort of rule or something that we're supposed to use to help us frame where to take profits on these kind of, or maybe that's not the correct question, but like what's a realistic expectation for this asset's price to do? And what I was looking there is what Eddie just said there is, any given point in time. I mean, like seriously, folks, this is what you're here to learn. I mean, it took me 30, 35 years to get this ground into my head. I suppose to the point where now I have fun in the market and I can just use these tools at my leisure. But to be perfectly honest with you, there's no reason whatsoever why this stock can't trade back to 188 bucks. And Mr. Gann would probably say that's what's supposed to happen. You should be able to look at this image and even give me sort of a time window when this is supposed to happen. And hint, we'll just go off of this high to ultimately this low. And of course, the same principle as 50% of price. You can do the same thing with time. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So what's that? 235 bars. So we'll call that 100 and what? 15, 16, 17, 117 bars. So that is right there. It's about half. So Mr. Gann would actually suggest that probably this asset was probably going to hit this level right around here. This is a good way for you to figure out the vibrational. This is the vibrational signature of the market, where it puts in market structure pivot high. Is this a market structure pivot low? Obviously, if we're trying to predict the future to a certain degree, we have to make some assumptions. But, that W there, that kind of helps us see the pivot, if that is indeed the low. So what should happen here is actually, you'll know that your chart is squared if we go off of this low back to this 50% level in 50% of the time. That, if that's a 45-degree angle, then your chart is squared. So you can see, interestingly enough, at that point, if I just do it, you see it says 56 degrees. So I know my chart is not square. You can actually draw this, you can pull this down to where it says 45 degrees, right? And we'll line it up with that date right there. You can see that still says 47, 46, 45. So that is actually the correct 45-degree angle there. So what that means is to properly square my chart, I actually have to go like that, right there. Is there anybody that's been suggesting recently that maybe the market actually wants to rally into this December window? Did this make sense that the 50% level and Mr. W.D. Gann says that we're probably going to be back up here somewhere around the end of December. Oh, gee whiz, if we go down and look at Mr. Decennial's prediction of what we're supposed to do here, that you notice that into the end of the year, Mr. Decennial is actually looking for the market to be very strong. So do you see how that corresponds? And my suggestion, if you're a site member, of course, and you haven't watched this, is get off your butt and go watch Mr. Williams. He has about a nice half-hour video here. And in my eyes, this is like the professional traders, the professional money managers. But this guy, he's pretty damn smart. And if I was going to recommend the public to listen to anybody, I'd listen to Larry. And I mean, the interesting thing is, you guys all know Larry's Williams percentage R. That's the same guy. I'm very, very impressed with him.